Hello, this is my D&E for implementing strategies in the classroom for a beginner ELL. In my simulation, my ELL would be a Spanish-speaking student, and the lesson for the day would be about the solar system, specifically following the TEK about the order of the planets in the solar system and important characteristics about those planets. To begin the day, I would be giving my ELL student a graphic organizer, which would look something like this. It would have a picture of each of the planets, and it would have instructions in both their native tongue, or in this case Spanish, and in English, so they can correspond the two. Things such as the name of the planet, the order in which the planet comes in, important characteristics they need to know, and other important facts that they have to have written down. So a majority of the lesson will be taking notes. So for the rest of the class, their notes will be taken in their science notebook, whereas for my ELL student, they would be taking it on the graphic organizer. I would have a PowerPoint presentation that goes over all 8 of the planets and important facts that I need them to have written down. Each of the slides will also contain a video about that planet, which the students will need to watch before the facts. So in this case, we would be starting with Saturn, imagining that I would have already gone over the planets previous to Saturn. Saturn. I would ask my students what they already know about Saturn, any important facts that they would like to share. I would have also asked my ELL student how much they know about the planets, whether there's any previous knowledge, and if they wanted to share anything about them. Once my students were done sharing, the video link would pop up. All of my students would have Chromebooks in their headphones. So for each of the planets, they will watch the video for that planet individually. So they will click on the link as soon as that is popped up and ready. For my ELL student though, the video will be the same and will also pop up, but will include Spanish subtitles along the bottom. That way they are more focused on the content instead of just trying to understand what the video is trying to say, especially if they do not have that vocabulary. Once my students were done watching the video and had some new knowledge about the planet, we would then go over the facts that were necessary by me for them to have. So I would model the notes that they need to be having taken down on my PowerPoint. And all of these notes would also correspond to the questions on the graphic organizer. So Saturn is the second largest planet in our solar system. I would use these types of gestures to help my student make connections, understanding where exactly they're placing this information and making connections with the instructions to the facts, because my facts are simply in English and do not have a Spanish translation. It is the 6th planet from the sun. It has the 2nd largest moon. I would have my students draw this moon next to their picture of Saturn or next to the graphic organizer's picture of Saturn, and I would have them label this moon Titan. There's a picture of Titan. I would tell them how 1 year on Saturn is equal to about 30 years on Earth, and I would explain that type of thinking. And I would say how an important fact about Saturn is its rings that are circling the planet, and that these rings are made out of rock, ice, and water. So these are all things that I would want my ELL to be writing in the correct spaces on the graphic organizer. Again, I would be going through the same type of slides for each of the planets, all 8 of them, and the students will be taking the same type of notes, doing the same type of videos, so following the same directions as we go through each. At the end of my lesson, I would ask my students questions about the planets, and I would hope that my ELL student could use their graphic organizer to help answer some of these questions. A question that I would want my ELL to answer would be if I was to ask what order what number from the sun is Saturn, and I would hope that my ELL could either answer 6 or show me with his or her fingers, that it was the 6th planet from the sun. This graphic organizer will also be a strategy that will be used further in the unit of the solar system when we will be doing assignments about writing about the planets or quizzes or even a big project like modeling the solar system at the end of the unit, I would hope that my ELL student could use this and refer back to it. That way they could organize their thoughts, understand what facts go to what planet, and to really strengthen their vocabulary about the solar system. Since they will have that reference to go back to in both their native language and this new English vocabulary, they will understand what they're saying, what they have written down, and what they're trying to speak or write down according to their notes in their graphic organizer. So that is my strategy that I would implement in this lesson, hoping that it would be a strategy that would carry over throughout the unit and really help my student understand the solar system. Thank you.